Hello, my name is Julie Connor, and I'm an associate broker with eXp Realty in both New York and Connecticut. Today we're going to be talking about the standard real estate contract. This form is actually a form that I got from the Smart MLS, and it's the one that we use a lot especially in Fairfield County when we're putting in an offer on a home. You need to make sure, first of all, that you have the most recent copy. The one that I have here in my hands is from 4/19, so April 2019. That is the most recent one that I got from the Smart MLS. It's very, very important that this is filled out completely and properly. This form is 4 pages, and I'm going to take the time to go over how to fill it out. I want to make sure that you fill it out properly. It's very important that this is filled out properly. You don't want to learn how to do this form at the point at which you have your client sitting there and you're putting in your first offer, please. And I do, by the way, have a video in my YouTube channel about actually what you put in that offer packet. And this is probably the most important form in that offer packet, the standard form real estate contract. So the first thing you're going to put on top are both sellers. That information you can get right from the public records, which is right on the multiple listings. So you need to make sure you put it correctly. If it's an LLC that actually is the seller, you need to specifically state the LLC's name properly. Because the LLC can't sign it, you need to then put a member or the members of the LLC that are going to be actually signing this. You'll be able to get that information from the seller's agent, which is important. You need to also put their address on here as well. If you don't know it and they're not living in the property, you need to make sure that you get that information too from the seller's agent. Then you're going to be putting on this form your buyers. Now, this is not necessarily the couple that you're working with if only one of them is actually providing all their financial information and the house is not going to be in the name of the other one. So it's very, very important that this is filled out by the person who is actually purchasing the home. The real property address you're going to put in, that's the address of the property that you are putting the offer in. Personal property to be included. This is information that you get from the multiple listing. It lists there, microwave, dishwasher, refrigerator, all the things that are going to be included. To be excluded, it doesn't always have a list of exclusions, but sometimes it does. So you would put that on that part of the form. So then it says purchase price by initial deposit paid upon execution of this contract. So that's the binder that you're putting down. So is that going to be 5%? Is that going to be 10%? Is it going to be 15%? In this market, we're talking right now, we're in March of 2022. It's crazy out there right now. So I oftentimes will try to put the best binder I can put down right up front so that it's showing the sellers that we're really being serious about this house. So it's going to be very important that with that binder check, that check is made out to the name of the attorney, not the buyer's attorney, but the seller's attorney. That's how we do this in Fairfield County. We typically will write it out to the seller's attorney. Sometimes I'll be told that it has to be written out to the brokerage, but in many cases, in most cases, we're writing it out to the attorney for the seller, this binder. The next thing you'll see here is by additional deposit. So sometimes there is no additional deposit, so you just have to put NA or not applicable. And then number C is by proceeds of a bank check immediately available to the seller at a local bank. And again, that's something that you're going to be putting down for what you're going to be getting from the actual bank. And then the last, number D, is what you're going to be, what the seller, what the buyer is going to be delivering at closing. So is there going to be additional money above and beyond that initial binder that is put down? And then the total purchase price. So the total purchase price is what you're actually going to be offering for the home. It's the combination of the binder, the money you're borrowing from the bank, the additional money that you're bringing to the closing table, and all of that should add up to the total purchase price. So if you're putting down, 10% and you are offering $400,000 for the home, you're initially putting down 10% of that, which would be $40,000. That would go in number A on the form. And then let's say you're not putting anything more down. So the rest of the money would be coming from number C, which is by proceeds of the bank. And that you would put the difference between 400 and what you're putting down is that binder, which is the 40,000. So you have 400,000 minus the 40,000, which is $360,000. And that would be the balance. So the amount that you're borrowing from the bank, you would be putting a number 6. That's the mortgage loan. And then you put the terms of the loan, which is 30 years, let's say. And then when the loan commitment date should be by. So typically we do about 4 weeks out and then 6 weeks out for the closing. That's what we're doing around at this time right now. This could change if you're watching this video in a year from now. The closing date is number 7, and I told you about 6 weeks out. And then we would put down Fairfield County. If we're in Fairfield, the seller has going to be signing this if they accept the contract, but both buyers are going to be signing this. On each page number 2, on the top of it, you're going to put the date. You're going to be putting the property address on the top. Now you're going to be putting a completion period that inspections will need to be completed by. Typically, we put 10 days from this date, and it's typically 10 business days. Because you want the title search then done no later than 10 business days after this inspection completion day. So I typically take about 10 days from, the first business day, and then I'll put a date there. And then you're going to be checking off if you're waiving or if you are doing the following inspections. It could be anywhere from your building inspection, your termite inspection, septic. Obviously, if there's no septic system, you're going to check off waived because you're not going to put that you're going to be doing that. The title search, which you typically always will be doing. Water, well, radon, oil tank. If there's no oil tank, obviously you're going to put waived. Lead and asbestos, you'll be checking off. If you decide that you are going to be doing a lead evaluation of asbestos. If the house is from 2010, you're not going to have to worry about lead and asbestos. Number 10 now looks at the residential property condition. So this is a form that I've talked about in another video. Very important form that the sellers fill out and the buyers are going to have to sign and initial each page. And the buyers are being given as much information about the house that the sellers know. Hopefully it's honest, hopefully it's accurate. If the seller fails to provide that, it does say here that the seller has to give a closing $500 to the buyer. So the buyers are going to initial that. It's a very common, number 10 is a very common thing that the buyers may forget to initial, so you have to make sure that they both have their initials on there. Number 11 is about the lead disclosure. And it does say here that the buyer acknowledges receipt of a booklet, the lead booklet, which is very important that that's given to your buyers, especially if they're looking at homes before 1978, and it is required. So it does say that they acknowledge that they got the receipt of that. And then number 14 gives, if you're going to be putting any additional terms on there, please be very, very careful about things like escalation clauses. It's very, very important because you're a realtor, you're not an attorney. So if you have, escalation clauses or other terms that you want to be able to put in there, please make sure that the buyer's attorney has really gone through, I would suggest that they write that out and put it as an addendum to the contract. But be very, very careful about what you're putting in there. So you are going to be having your buyer's initial, this second page. Third page, you're going to be going and putting the date on the top, the property on the top, they initial that third page on the bottom. Fourth page, same thing, date on the top, the property on the top. And this page, it's very important that they're signing it. And as the buyer's agent, you have to fill out as much information as possible. You put your name, you put your license, your firm, the address, their attorney. So please make sure you know your buyer's attorney, not at the point at which you're putting in an offer. Their name, their address, their email goes on there. And then put as much information that you know about the seller, the seller's agent, which is listed on the MLS, the brokerage that they work for. You may not know their attorney. That's a quick text to the seller's agent that you can ask the attorney's name, the attorney's information, so you can fill out that form beautifully. And now you have the whole form filled out and you're all set. So I hope that that has given you some really great information to help you fill out this form. It's probably one of the most important forms you'll be filling out when you're placing an offer. Just make sure you're double checking your numbers, and good luck with that offer. Thanks and have a great day.